The Wolf Girl. First encounter. Marcus wiped the grease from his hands with a dirty rag, squinting at the massive engine core suspended above his workbench. The fusion reactor hummed with barely contained energy. Its crystalline housing cracked along 3 major stress points. Another day, another impossible repair job on Station Omega 7. The mining station orbited a dead world at the edge of human space, where desperate souls came to scratch out a living from asteroid fields and abandoned settlements. Marcus had been here for 2 years, fixing everything from atmospheric processors to gravity generators. His small workshop in the lower decks stayed busy because he could repair alien tech that other mechanics wouldn't touch. A soft chime announced someone entering his shop. Marcus looked up, expecting another gruff miner or station administrator with a broken tool. Instead, he found himself staring at something that made his breath catch in his throat. The woman stood just inside his doorway, but calling her simply a woman felt inadequate. She moved with predatory grace, her lean frame covered in form-fitting dark clothing that seemed to absorb light. Most striking were her features: sharp cheekbones, pointed ears that twitched slightly, and eyes that gleamed amber in the workshop's harsh lighting. Thick silver hair fell past her shoulders, and when she smiled, Marcus caught a glimpse of canine teeth that were definitely not human. "You're the mechanic they call Tinker?" Her voice carried a slight accent he couldn't place, with an odd harmonic quality that made his skin prickle. "That's me," Marcus managed, setting down his tools. "What can I fix for you?" She stepped closer, and he noticed she moved without making any sound at all. Her nostrils flared slightly as she approached, as if she were analyzing his scent. "I need someone who understands both human and non-human technology. The others in this sector are limited." Marcus had dealt with plenty of alien species since humanity joined the Galactic Trade Coalition 5 years ago. The insectoid Thrixie, the gaseous veil dancers, even the crystalline resonance. But this woman was something else entirely. Her mannerisms reminded him of the wolves he'd seen in nature documentaries from old Earth. "What exactly are we talking about here?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. She reached into a pouch at her side and withdrew a device unlike anything in Marcus's considerable experience. It was roughly the size of his palm, made from what looked like living metal that seemed to flow and shift when he wasn't looking directly at it. Organic curves melded seamlessly with geometric precision, and tiny lights pulsed beneath its surface in patterns that hurt his eyes to follow. "Navigation module from my ship," she said, placing it on his workbench. "It was damaged during an encounter with raiders 3 days ago." Marcus leaned closer, professional curiosity overriding his unease. The device radiated a faint warmth and seemed to respond to his proximity, its internal lights brightening slightly. "I've never seen anything like this." "What species designed it?" "Mine." The simple answer carried weight that made Marcus look up at her again. "And what species would that be?" She was quiet for a long moment, amber eyes studying his face. "We call ourselves the Fenrir. Your people might know us by different names." The name meant nothing to Marcus, but something in her tone suggested it should. He picked up his scanner and aimed it at the device. The readings made no sense. The scanner detected elements that shouldn't exist and energy patterns that defied standard physics. "This technology is completely outside human understanding," he said. "I'm not sure I can help you, but you'll try." It wasn't a question. Marcus found himself nodding before he really thought about it. Something about her presence commanded agreement, though not in a threatening way. More like how a pack leader might give instructions to subordinates. "I'll need time to study it," he said, "and I can't guarantee anything. This is way beyond anything I've worked with before." "How long?" "Give me 3 days. Maybe a week if it's really complicated." She nodded once, then turned to leave. At the doorway, she paused and looked back at him. "My name is Lyra, by the way, and mechanic?" "Yeah." "Be very careful with that device. It's more important than you can imagine." After she left, Marcus stared at the alien navigation module for a long time. His workshop felt oddly empty without her presence, and he realized he'd been holding his breath during most of their conversation. Whatever Lyra was, she definitely wasn't entirely human. He spent the next several hours running every diagnostic he could think of. The device seemed to be constructed from materials that existed in a quantum state, shifting between solid and energy depending on how he observed them. The internal components defied classification. They looked organic in some scans and purely mechanical in others. By evening, Marcus had made little progress beyond confirming that the device was impossibly advanced. He was preparing to close his shop when his workbench scanner chimed with an incoming message. The holographic display showed a news feed from the inner systems. The headline made his blood run cold. Fenrir pack ships spotted near human colony worlds. Military on high alert. Marcus quickly read the article. According to Galactic Coalition intelligence, the Fenrir were an ancient spacefaring species that had vanished from known space over 1,000 years ago. Recent reports suggested they had returned, and their intentions were unknown. Several colonies had reported mysterious ship sightings, followed by the complete disappearance of small settlements. The article included artist renditions based on eyewitness accounts. Marcus's hands shook as he looked at the images. Humanoid figures with wolf-like features, amber eyes, and silver hair. The description matched Lyra perfectly. He looked at the navigation device sitting innocently on his workbench. Whatever Lyra really was, she had trusted him with something that could be incredibly dangerous. The smart thing would be to contact station security immediately. Instead, Marcus found himself pulling up his most advanced diagnostic programs. If the Fenrir were really returning after 1,000 years, then this device might be the key to understanding why. The next morning brought an unexpected visitor. Commander Sarah Chen from Station Security entered his workshop with 2 armed guards, her expression grim. "Mr. Torres, we need to talk," she said. "It's about your visitor yesterday." Marcus tried to keep his face neutral. "What visitor?" "Don't play games with me. Station sensors detected an unregistered ship docking near your workshop. The energy signature doesn't match any known vessel type." "I get a lot of customers," Marcus said. "Most of them don't register with security." Commander Chen stepped closer, her hand resting on her sidearm. "This is serious, Torres. We have reason to believe you may have encountered a Fenrir operative." Marcus's mind raced. If he admitted to meeting Lyra, they would confiscate the navigation device and probably arrest him as well. But if he lied and they found out later, things would be much worse. "What exactly are you asking me?" he said carefully. "We're asking if you've seen anything unusual, any customers who didn't seem quite human, any strange technology that you can't identify." Before Marcus could answer, the lights in his workshop flickered. The navigation device on his workbench began to glow brighter, its internal patterns shifting rapidly. Commander Chen's scanner started beeping frantically. "What the hell is that?" she demanded, drawing her weapon. The device rose slowly from the workbench, suspended by some invisible force. It rotated gently in the air, projecting a 3-dimensional map of local space. Red dots appeared throughout the display, moving in coordinated patterns. "Commander," one of her guards said urgently, "my scanner is detecting multiple ships approaching the station. They're not broadcasting any identification." Through his workshop's small viewport, Marcus could see shapes moving against the star field. They were sleek vessels unlike anything in the human fleet, their hulls seeming to absorb rather than reflect light. The navigation device pulsed once and went dark, dropping back to the workbench with a soft thud. Commander Chen stared at Marcus, her face pale. "Mr. Torres," she said quietly, I think you better tell me everything you know." Before Marcus could respond, the station's emergency klaxons began wailing. A voice echoed through the corridors. "All personnel to emergency stations. Unknown vessels have breached the outer perimeter. This is not a drill." Marcus looked at the navigation device, then at Commander Chen's frightened face. Whatever was about to happen, he had a feeling that his encounter with the wolf girl had set something in motion that none of them could stop. The Wolf Girl. Revelations. The emergency lighting cast everything in harsh red shadows as Marcus followed Commander Chen through the station's corridors. The navigation device was secured in a containment field carried by one of her guards, still occasionally flickering with alien patterns. "Sir, we're getting communication requests from the approaching vessels," reported Lieutenant Hayes as they reached the station's command center. "They're broadcasting on frequencies we've never seen before." "Put it through," Commander Chen ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of what was clearly not a human ship. Organic curves dominated the architecture, and bioluminescent panels provided soft lighting. At the center stood a figure that made Marcus's breath catch. It was Lyra, but not as he had seen her before. She wore what looked like ceremonial armor made from the same flowing metal as her navigation device. Her amber eyes seemed to glow in the dim lighting of her ship, and her canine features were more pronounced. Behind her, Marcus could see other figures with similar wolf-like characteristics. "Humans of Station Omega-7, Lyra's voice carried perfectly through the communication system. "We come seeking one among you, a mechanic who possesses something that belongs to us." Commander Chen looked at Marcus, who felt his heart hammering in his chest. "She's talking about you." "I am Lyra of the Northern Pack, daughter of the Hunt Master," the wolf woman continued. "We wish to speak with the human called Tinker." "This is Commander Chen, Station Security. State your intentions." Lyra's eyes seemed to look directly at Marcus through the screen. "We seek the return of our navigation core and the human who has touched it. No harm will come to your station if he is delivered to us." "And if we refuse?" Commander Chen asked. For the first time, Lyra smiled, showing those sharp canine teeth. "Then you will learn why the galaxy once feared the howl of Fenrir ships." The communication cut off, leaving the command center in tense silence. Marcus could see the fear in the faces around him. Station Omega-7 had minimal defensive capabilities, designed for mining operations rather than military action. "Sir," Hayes reported, "the Fenrir ships are maintaining position just outside weapon range. They're not moving to attack, but they're clearly waiting." Commander Chen turned to Marcus. "Explain to me exactly what happened when this Lyra visited your workshop." Marcus took a deep breath. There was no point in hiding anything now. He told them about Lyra's visit, the strange navigation device, and his attempts to analyze it. When he finished, Commander Chen was staring at him like he had grown a second head. "You knew she wasn't human, and you didn't report it?" "She needed help," Marcus said. "I'm a mechanic. People bring me broken things, and I fix them. I don't ask for immigration papers." "This isn't some refugee with a broken hyperdrive," Chen snapped. "These are the Fenrir. According to Coalition intelligence, they disappeared because they were losing a war against an alliance of 12 species. The last records describe them as savage predators who hunted sentient beings for sport." "That doesn't sound like the woman I met," Marcus protested. Before Chen could respond, the station shuddered. Through the viewports, they could see one of the Fenrir ships moving closer. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of the station, its hull seeming to ripple like liquid shadow. "Incoming transmission," Hayes reported. Lyra appeared on screen again, but this time she was not alone. Behind her stood a figure that made Marcus take an involuntary step backward. The newcomer was clearly Fenrir, but larger and more intimidating than Lyra. His silver hair was streaked with black, and scars covered the visible portions of his arms and face. When he spoke, his voice carried the rumble of distant thunder. "I am Grim, Hunt Master of the Northern Pack. Human Commander, you have one of my people on your station, a young female named Lyra. Return her and our property immediately." Marcus felt confusion wash over him. "Wait, she's not on the station. She came to my workshop yesterday and left." The Hunt Master's amber eyes fixed on Marcus through the screen. "You are mistaken, human. Lyra has not returned to her ship. Our sensors indicate she remains within your station." Commander Chen's scanner operator suddenly looked up. "Sir, I'm detecting a human life sign in the lower maintenance tunnels, Section C7. "That's near the old storage bays," Chen muttered. "Those areas were sealed after the atmospheric breach last year." Marcus remembered something Lyra had said about being damaged during an encounter with raiders. "Commander, what if she's hurt? The navigation device she brought me was damaged. Maybe she was injured too and couldn't make it back to her ship." The Hunt Master leaned forward on the screen. "Human mechanic, explain." "She told me her navigation module was damaged by raiders 3 days ago. If her ship was attacked, she might have been wounded too. Maybe she's hiding because she's injured." The large Fenrir exchanged a look with Lyra that Marcus couldn't interpret. "Show me this damaged device." Commander Chen nodded to her guard, who activated the containment field. The navigation module floated between them, its surface still showing stress fractures. The Hunt Master's expression changed immediately. "By the ancient laws," he growled, "that is not merely damaged, it is dying." "What do you mean?" Marcus asked. Lyra stepped forward on the screen. "Our navigation cores are not simple machines, Marcus. They are living neural networks, bred from the consciousness of our ancestral pack leaders. That device contains the spirit of my grandmother." Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. "You mean it's alive?" "It was alive," the Hunt Master corrected grimly. "Now it fades. And if Lyra has been separated from it for too long, she will fade as well. Our people are linked to their navigation cores from birth. The bond cannot be broken without death." Commander Chen looked between Marcus and the screen. "Are you saying she's dying?" "Yes," Lyra said simply. "I have perhaps hours before the separation kills me. That is why I hid in your maintenance areas. I did not want my death to endanger your station." Marcus grabbed the containment field controls. "Then take it. Take the device back to her." "It is not so simple," the Hunt Master said. "The core is damaged beyond our ability to repair. It requires technologies we do not possess." "But I was making progress," Marcus protested. "I was starting to understand how it works. Give me more time." "Time we do not have," Lyra said softly, "and time you should not waste on one of my kind. Your people fear us for good reason." Marcus stared at her image on the screen. Even knowing what she was, even understanding the danger, he found himself unable to accept that this proud, graceful being would simply die because he wasn't skilled enough to help her. "What if I came with you?" he said suddenly. "What if I brought my tools and worked on the device aboard your ship, close to Lyra?" The command center fell silent. Commander Chen grabbed his arm. "Torres, you can't be serious. You'd be going aboard an alien vessel with a species that hasn't been seen for 1,000 years. A species that's been hunted almost to extinction," Marcus corrected. "Look at them, Commander. They're not here to conquer anything. They're trying to save one of their own." The Hunt Master studied Marcus through the screen. "Why would a human risk himself for one of us?" Marcus thought about his answer carefully. "Because that's what people do. We help each other. And because Lyra trusted me enough to bring me her most precious possession." "The galaxy is not a place of such kindness," the Hunt Master said. "Your own species has shown us this." "Then maybe it's time someone showed you different." Lyra moved closer to the screen. "Marcus, If you come aboard our ship, there is no guarantee we can return you safely. Our technology and yours are not compatible. You would be trusting us completely." "You trusted me first," Marcus replied. The Huntmaster and Lyra conferred in what sounded like a series of growls and harmonics. Finally, the large Fenrir nodded. "Very well, human mechanic. We will allow you aboard our vessel. But understand this, if you prove to be a threat to my pack, I will end your life without hesitation." "Understood," Marcus said, surprised by his own calm. Commander Chen stepped in front of him. "I can't let you do this, Torres. My duty is to protect the people on this station." "Your duty is to protect the station," Marcus corrected. "I'm volunteering, and besides, what choice do we have? If Lyra dies, do you think her people will just leave peacefully?" The Huntmaster answered that question. "If our pack sister dies due to human negligence, this station will be consumed by fire. This I swear by the ancient laws." Commander Chen closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them with resignation. "Hayes, prepare a shuttle for Mr. Torres." "And Torres?" "Yes, Commander." "When you come back, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do." Marcus gathered his tools and portable diagnostic equipment, his hands moving automatically while his mind raced. He was about to board an alien ship belonging to a species that the rest of the galaxy considered extinct and dangerous. Either he was about to make history, or he was about to become it. As the shuttle carried him toward the massive Fenrir vessel, Marcus looked back at Station Omega-7 one last time. Whatever happened next, he knew his life would never be the same. The Wolf Girl, the Bond. The interior of the Fenrir ship challenged everything Marcus thought he knew about spacecraft design. Corridors curved and branched like the tunnels of some vast organism, their walls pulsing with soft bioluminescent patterns. The air carried scents of pine and something wild that made his primitive brain want to either flee or submit. Huntmaster Grimm led him through passages lined with other Fenrir crew members. They watched Marcus with curious amber eyes, their wolf-like features ranging from subtle to pronounced. Some looked almost human except for their ears and eyes, while others were clearly apex predators, barely contained in humanoid form. "Your scent carries fear, but not terror," Grimm observed as they walked. "Most species cannot tolerate our presence for long." "I'm trying not to think about how many ways you could kill me," Marcus replied honestly. The Huntmaster's laugh was like gravel rolling down a mountainside. "I begin to understand why Lyra was intrigued by you." They reached what appeared to be a medical bay, though the organic architecture made it look more like the inside of a living creature. Lyra lay on a curved surface that seemed to mold itself to her form, her breathing shallow and labored. The navigator core rested on a pedestal nearby, its lights dim and flickering erratically. "She's getting worse," Marcus said, setting down his equipment. "The bond weakens with each passing hour," confirmed a new voice. Marcus turned to see another Fenrir approaching, this one wearing robes that seemed to be made from starlight itself. "I am Sage Vera, keeper of the old knowledge. I have been trying to maintain the connection, but our healing arts are not enough." Marcus opened his diagnostic case and began setting up his instruments. "Tell me about this bond. How does it work?" "When each of us reaches maturity, we undergo the linking," Vera explained. "A navigation core is grown from neural tissue donated by our ancestors. It becomes part of us, sharing our thoughts and memories, guiding us through the void between stars." "So it's not just a machine," Marcus said, running a scanner over the device. "It's actually part of her consciousness." "More than that," Grimm said quietly. "It contains the wisdom of her bloodline. 7 generations of navigators rest within that core. If it dies, all of that knowledge dies with it." Marcus studied his readings, his mind racing through possibilities. The device was failing on a quantum level, its molecular bonds unraveling in cascade patterns he'd never seen before. But there was something else, something that gave him hope. "It's trying to repair itself," he murmured. "Look at these patterns. The core is attempting to rebuild its damaged sections, but it doesn't have enough energy." "We have tried feeding it power from our ship's reactors," Vera said. "Nothing helps." "Because it doesn't need electrical energy," Marcus realized. "It needs biological energy. Life force, for want of a better term." He looked up at the assembled Fenrir. "What if we could temporarily link the core to a larger source of life energy? Give it enough power to complete its own repairs?" "Such a thing is not possible," Vera said. "The linking can only occur once, during the maturity ritual." "But what if we didn't try to create a permanent bond?" Marcus asked. "What if we just temporarily boosted the signal?" Grimm leaned forward. "Explain." Marcus pulled out a neural interface headset from his equipment. It was standard technology for mechanics who worked with AI systems, allowing direct mental connection to complex machines. "This creates a temporary neural bridge. If I could connect to the core while it's still linked to Lyra, maybe I could provide the extra energy it needs to heal itself." The medical bay fell silent. Marcus could feel the weight of multiple amber gazes studying him. "You would risk your own consciousness," Vera said slowly. "If the core is truly dying, it might drain your life force completely." "And if it succeeds," Grimm added, "you would be temporarily bonded to a Fenrir navigation core. Your species is not designed for such connections. It could drive you insane." Marcus looked at Lyra's pale form. Her breathing had become even more labored while they talked. "What other choice do we have?" "Why?" Grimm asked bluntly. "Why would you risk everything for someone you barely know?" Marcus thought about that question as he adjusted the neural interface. "Because she dropped something and trusted me to pick it up. Because someone has to show the galaxy that not every species is driven by fear and hatred. And because it's the right thing to do." He placed the interface on his head and connected the leads to the navigation core. "How do I make this work?" Vera moved to Lyra's side and placed her hands on the young Fenrir's temples. "I will guide you into the bond. But understand, once you enter the link, you will experience everything that Lyra experiences, her memories, her emotions, her pain." "I'm ready," Marcus said, though he wasn't sure that was true. The world exploded into sensation. Marcus suddenly found himself running through forests that couldn't exist, under alien stars that painted everything in silver light. He could smell every living thing for miles around, feel the heartbeat of prey animals hiding in the undergrowth, sense the pack moving with perfect coordination around him. But underneath the wild freedom, there was agony. Something vital was being torn away, leaving a wound that went deeper than flesh and bone. He felt Lyra's terror as the connection to her ancestral spirits began to fade. "Easy, human." The voice belonged to someone else, but Marcus felt it as his own thoughts. "Do not fight the current. Become part of it." Marcus relaxed his mental barriers and let himself sink deeper into the link. Suddenly, he wasn't alone. 7 distinct presences surrounded him, the accumulated wisdom of Lyra's bloodline. Ancient navigators who had guided their people through dangers he couldn't imagine. "You are not one of us," said a voice like winter wind. "Yet you offer yourself freely." "She needs help," Marcus replied with thoughts instead of words. "Tell me what to do." "Pour your life into the core," another presence instructed. "But do not try to become us. Remain yourself, and let your human vitality strengthen what is already here." Marcus felt energy flowing out of him like water through a broken dam. The navigation core began to pulse brighter, its internal patterns stabilizing. But the drain was enormous. He could feel his consciousness starting to fray at the edges. Too much. Lyra's voice reached him across the link. You're giving too much. Stop before it kills you. Not yet, Marcus gasped, though he wasn't sure if he spoke aloud or merely thought the words. It's working. The core is healing. Around him, the ancestral spirits were working frantically to repair quantum damage that had been accumulating for years. They used his life energy like clay, molding new pathways and reinforcing weakened bonds. But Marcus could feel himself fading, his human consciousness no match for the vast hunger of the dying device. Just as he thought he would be consumed entirely, something unexpected happened. The core suddenly pushed back, refusing to take more energy from him. Enough, Lyra's grandmother's spirit said firmly. This one has given more than any being should. We have what we need. The flow of energy reversed, and Marcus felt strength pouring back into him. But it was different now, carrying with it traces of something wild and ancient. When he finally opened his eyes in the medical bay, the world looked different. Colors seemed more vivid, sounds carried emotional undertones he'd never noticed before, and he could smell the distinct scent signatures of every Fenrir in the room. How do you feel? Vera asked, studying him with professional concern. Marcus sat up slowly, surprised to find that his body felt stronger rather than weaker. Different, but not bad different. Lyra was sitting up as well, the color returned to her face. The navigation core floated between them, its surface now whole and unmarked, pulsing with steady light. It worked, she said wonderingly. The core is fully healed. More than healed, Grimm said, studying readings on a device Marcus didn't recognize. It's stronger than before, and you, human mechanic, carry traces of the bond. What does that mean? Marcus asked. It means, Vera said with something approaching awe, that you are the first non-Fenrir to successfully link with one of our navigation cores and survive. You carry within yourself a fragment of our ancestral knowledge. Marcus could feel it now that she mentioned it. A vast library of star charts and navigation techniques flickering just at the edge of his consciousness. Will it fade? Unknown, Grimm admitted. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Lyra moved closer to Marcus, her amber eyes bright with gratitude. You saved my life. More than that, you saved 7 generations of my ancestors. How can I ever repay such a debt? You don't owe me anything, Marcus said. You asked for help and I gave it. That's what people do. Perhaps, Grimm said thoughtfully, that is something the galaxy needs to remember. The Huntmaster stepped forward and placed a massive hand on Marcus's shoulder. Human mechanic, you have shown honor that would make any pack proud. I offer you a place among us if you wish it. Marcus looked around the medical bay at the assembled Fenrir. A week ago, he had been a simple mechanic on a forgotten mining station. Now he was being offered a place among a legendary species that the rest of the galaxy thought extinct. That's a generous offer, he said finally, but I think I need to return to my own people. Someone needs to tell them that the Fenrir aren't the monsters they think you are. And someone needs to tell my people that not all humans are enemies, Lyra added. Perhaps it's time for both our species to stop hiding from each other. Grimm nodded slowly. Perhaps it is. Very well, Marcus Torres. You will return to your station with our gratitude, but know that you will always be welcome among the packs of Fenrir. As they prepared to transfer him back to Station Omega-7, Lyra approached Marcus one final time. You dropped this, she said with a smile, holding out a small device he didn't recognize. I didn't drop anything, Marcus said, confused. You will, Lyra replied mysteriously, when you're ready to see the stars as we do. The device was warm in his palm, and Marcus could sense potential within it. Possibilities for adventure and discovery beyond anything his simple mining station could offer. Later, as he watched the Fenrir ships disappear into the vast darkness between stars, Marcus held the small device and wondered what new stories were waiting to be written among the distant suns. Behind him, Commander Chen was already composing reports that would change humanity's understanding of their place in the galaxy. But that, Marcus reflected, was a story for another day.